James Carreras overheard a joke during lunch at a restaurant and liked the concept. He asked the joker, Brian Clemens, a known writer-producer, to see him about making the film, and the idea led to the movie, Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde. Also at Clemens' table was a man who was given the task to direct it. Roy Ward Baker may have been a Johnny-come-lately to Hammer, but not to the movies industry. He was born in London on December 19, 1916, and stated he knew in school that, though talkies had just appeared, he wanted to work in films as a sound engineer. He started sending letters to studios, and the Gainsborough studio hired him in February of 1934 at the age of 17. He made himself available at all times, volunteering to fill in whatever job had to be done, and moved up the ladder quickly. By 1938, he worked on Alfred Hitchcock's The Lady Vanishes as second assistant director. Then, World War II started. He was in the infantry for 2 years before he was drafted into the Army Kinematograph Service, AKS, as a production manager for technical training films. Within 6 weeks, he was directing longer films. Here, he made friends and connections. One such connection was a producer in the AKS, Eric Ambler. After the war, Ambler was writing and producing a movie, Octoberman, which he asked Baker to direct. It was released in 1947 and was successful. He had directed several films, when in 1950 he did Morning Departure, released in the US as Operation Disaster. Its success led 20th Century Fox to offer him a 3-year contract. He came to Hollywood and later said that those 3 years turned me into a professional. Up until then, I was a lucky amateur. In 1952, he was credited with 3 pictures: Don't Bother to Knock, starring Marilyn Monroe; The House in the Square, starring Tyrone Power, released in the US under the title I'll Never Forget You; and Night Without Sleep, starring Linda Darnell and Gary Merrill. Having worked with Merrill, he also became friends with Betty Davis, which would help him later. Though uncredited, he was also the location director for The Snows of Kilimanjaro, starring Gregory Peck and Ava Gardner. He returned to Britain in 1953 and continued to direct consistently throughout the decade, making such films as The Inferno and The One That Got Away. In 1958, he would direct A Night to Remember, a retelling of the sinking of the Titanic, which many believe is his greatest picture. Its estimated budget, £600,000, worth over £15 million today, made it the most expensive film ever produced in Britain at the time. The movie was lauded by the critics on many levels. Historians praised its accuracy, and the Golden Globes awarded it the Best English Language Foreign Film. However, it did not make its money back.
Side note: Roy Ward Baker was alive when James Cameron's Titanic was released, but no public statement could be found on his views, although many people note the later film's massive budget.
During the 1960s, Roy Ward Baker would occasionally direct a film, but mostly worked in TV, where he worked on individual episodes of several TV shows, including The Avengers and The Saint. His biggest problem at this time was his name. He was using Roy Baker as his screen name. His birth name was Roy Horace Baker, but there was another Roy Baker who was a sound editor. This caused some professional confusion, especially when he came to Hammer, because the other Roy Baker, the sound editor, was already there and worked on several pictures, including 1 Million Years BC and Dracula, Prince of Darkness. Roy Ward Baker said that he would get phone calls for the other Baker, He also stated that Roy, the sound editor, would be upset with him when he received the wrong phone calls. To avoid further problems, the director changed his screen name to Roy Ward Baker. He claimed it was his greatest mistake because everyone thought I was a new director and didn't realize I made all those films. He first used his new moniker when he directed his initial movie for Hammer. In 1967, Hammer wanted to do a third Qatermass film, but Val Guest, who had done the first two, was on another film shoot, Casino Royale. The producer, Anthony Nelson Keyes, had seen A Night to Remember and felt that the journalistic style he used was exactly what the film needed. Baker read the script and he loved it, stating that it was one of the few scripts where you didn't have to alter a word. Qatermass and the Pit, released as 5 Million Years to Earth in the US, was a critical and financial success. Baker called the production a marvelous shoot. Hammer was grateful to have him at this time. Bette Davis was making her second Hammer picture, The Anniversary. A week into shooting, Davis did not show up for 2 days, demanding that Hammer replace Alvin Rakoff as director because he was trying to use TV techniques. The studio bosses asked Baker to step in, and she was happy to see him. The film was eventually finished, but received lukewarm reviews and box office on release. After filming one episode for the Hammer TV series Journey to the Unknown, he was asked to direct Michael Carrera's space western Moon 02. He stated, "It was more than a headache. It turned out to be practically impossible." Even though it was given a very large budget by Hammer standards, it wasn't enough to pull off the effects the movie needed. He also complained that Michael Carrera's script wasn't witty enough or clever enough. It never really got off the ground. He suggested that space sequences be shot in an airplane hangar in Cardington, Cambridgeshire, but that was shot down. The movie was a fiasco and became Hammer's biggest box office flop. He knew that eventually he would be asked to do gothic horror, but he wasn't very keen. He was even less keen when he was offered a vampire film with lesbian overtones, but softened when he was told it was based on Sheridan Le Fanu's classic tale, Camilla. Because he had read it as a teenager, he agreed to do the film and directed Vampire Lovers. In the early 70s, American investors stopped financing Hammer productions, which led to the studio's smaller budgets. Baker felt the sting while making The Scars of Dracula and had several problems with his productions. He was upset with casting because inexperienced actors were brought in, which slowed productions. He also argued about the sets. He was also told to keep a tight fiscal grip while filming Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde. His last Hammer film, The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, was a collaboration with the Shaw brothers, who was well known in Asia for their martial arts movies. He wasn't happy, but understood what Michael Carrera's was trying to do. He stated that production problems stemmed from both sides having its own expectations and way of doing things, and very little was discussed before filming. There needed to be a much closer liaison. He would do the occasional film such as Amicus, and Now the Screaming Starts, and The Vault of Horror, both released in 1973. He made his last movie, The Monster Club, in 1981, starring Vincent Price. His last directing effort was the British TV show The Good Guys in 1992. In 2000, he published his memoirs, The Director's Cut, a memoir of 60 years in film and television. On October 5th, 2010, he passed away in his sleep at a London hospital at the age of 93.